so we're good. And all right, Bismillah, salatu salamu ala Rasulillah. Again, welcome to Lead the Nation NED alum associations, both in the US and in Pakistan. We are so proud of our students, and we are so proud of those who made it tonight, despite all the difficulties, despite the hangover from cricket match. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I didn't mention it. I just wanted, एक हफ्ता हो गया, मैंने कहा थोड़ी सी तो स्माइल आ जाएगी, अब बेचारे उनको आगे कभी देखना है इंशाल्लाह, तो सब हम साथ हैं आपके, हंसी में भी, खुशी में भी, और रोने में भी थोड़ा सा हम साथ हैं आप, ठीक है? तो लेकर चलते हैं इंशाल्लाह. We have two great, mashallah, very,
Faraz,
yes,
can I interrupt you?
yes.
We just finished the final of the World Cup, and India lost to Australia.
Oh, so that let's
So,
celebrate, huh?
not really.
I want to hear.
India played great cricket throughout the tournament, and I think they deserved to win. But in the final, somehow Australia played better, and so they won the World Cup today.
Yeah. No, definitely. And again, they say it cricket by chance. So I was not aware of it. I was prepping for everything today. So okay, the mood could swing, right? So anyways, so let's get to it. I think good luck to Indian fans, and good luck to Australian fans. So this is sports. So let's move forward. So we have Mr. Adeel Khan today, and he's going to open up for opening batsmen. For us, talking about resume or CV, as we've discussed this, it's the same concept in Pakistan. I believe it's CV over in here in the U.S. So you may hear the word resume. That's okay. And then we'll talk about cover letter too. But I think we have a great session. Please pay attention. Be active. Don't have other tabs open. मैंने आपको पहले बताया है कि नेट के ऊपर बहंगे लोग कैसे होते हैं, राइट? वो उनकी निगाहें दूसरी तरफ होती हैं, सुन कुछ और रहे होते हैं, और फिर they pretend they understood everything, और ना तो उन्होंने गाना सुना होता है सही, और ना ही उन्होंने तकरीर सुनी होती है किसी बंदे की, तो हासिल उनको कुछ नहीं होता. So Adeel will open up, inshallah, and he will share his screen. And please introduce yourself, Mr. Adeel Khan, and then Mr. Nabeel, Shamim. They all both come from computer science background, but the information is pertinent to all of the majors and subjects. Okay, so thank you so much, Adeel, for being here, and Nabeel as well. And over to you.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Yes?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, great. Let me start. So this is all about, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into resumes and what makes a good resume and all of that. So the title of this presentation is Building a Winning Resume for Your First Job. Just a bit of intro about myself. I have a bachelor's in computer information systems from Stony Brook University, that's in New York. I have a master's in business computer information systems from Hofstra University, also in New York. My professional experience has been in the United States, 24 years in software development. Of those, I would say about 15 years has been in various leadership positions. Previous companies that I've worked for include Reuters and Morgan Stanley. Most of my experience has been in financial services. I currently work for a very large financial services firm as a technology director. I've been a hiring manager for 17 years and also been a career development coach as well within my current role. And the reason I'm telling you this is because kind of what Faraz said in the beginning, right? These are, I'm coming from my own perspective, my own experiences that I have, and I hope to share some of those things with you. So what should you expect from this presentation, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go and talk about some statistics around resumes and CVs, things maybe you didn't know, maybe you did know. We're going to talk a little bit about application tracking systems, ATS. I know that was a question last week about that. We'll talk about do's and don'ts in a resume, what you're supposed to do, what you shouldn't do in a resume, what you should avoid. And then what we'll do is we'll talk about what a good resume looks like, and what and we'll get to go a little bit deeper in there. A few kind of caveats I will give you. One is this is a combination of my own research and my own experience. Like I said, I've been a hiring manager for a number of years. So a lot of this comes from those experiences. This isn't necessarily written in books or there haven't been articles published about this, but these are things that are part of my own kind of experience. Other mentors on this call, your mentors or your experiences may differ. But again, these are just my thoughts and my experiences. I've only worked at large companies, so some of these things I talk about may not fit to apply to smaller companies, but I largely think they do. But in case they don't, this is why, because my lens is really from the perspective of large multinational organizations. Okay, so with that said, let's get started. So I wanted to start this talk by talking about asking you a bunch of questions about statistics. There's statistics around resumes, okay? So what I'd like you to do is when I ask you the question, if you want to just type it into the chat, I can't see you, but Faraz, if you wanted to kind of, if there's any guesses people have, what they type into the chat, maybe you can just say those out loud. So how long does a hiring manager typically spend on reading a resume? So they get the resume or CV. How long does a hiring manager typically spend on reading this resume? Any thoughts?
Sayyid Muhammad Taimur said 4 to 5 seconds.
Anybody else?
Nabeel Shamim said 2 minutes. Moiz said 5 to 7 seconds. Asif Shakil said 20 seconds. Ira said 6 seconds. Atka said less than a minute. And Sayyid Ayman had mentioned 6 seconds.
Wonderful. So the answer is 7 to 11 seconds. So think about this for a second. You spend all this time on your resume and someone's really only going to look at it for 7 to 11 seconds. So what we have to do is make those 7 to 11 seconds count. So whoever said under a minute, 6 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, you're kind of right around that spot. So that's the reality. Someone who gets a hand, looks at your resume, will not spend very much time on it. So that's something you need to keep an eye on and think about as we talk through this. So we're going to talk about ATS or automatic, these automatic screening systems in a second. But what percentages of resumes do you think get through these systems? Meaning these systems are scanning for keywords and grammar and formatting and all that stuff. What percentage do you think get through these systems?
So we're waiting for some responses.
Any guess?
Some said 10%. Amazim. Moiz said 7 to 10%, I guess. Sheikh Mubashir said 15%.
35%. So think about this, right? These systems that screen resumes, 3/4 of them don't even, 3/4 of resumes don't even get through them, right? So another thing to think about. Next question. What percentage of resumes are 1 page long? Throw out a number.
Sheikh Mubashir said 80%. And let's see, Laiba said 5%. Sayyid Muhammad Taimur said 90%.
So, all right. So the answer is 65% are 2 pages long, 24% are 1 page long. And we'll talk a little bit about what 1 page and why 1 page, why 2 page. But for your purposes, for new graduates, people who are early in their careers, I would recommend a 1 page resume. All right, how many applicants apply for a job? So somebody posts a position, some company posts a position, how many applicants apply for a job, for that one job?
So how many resume received for this job?
How many resumes does received for a particular job? That
so Sheikh Mubashir said 100 to 500. Sayyid Raza said 100. Ahmad Mustafa said 100. Ira said 1,000. She's feeling generous. Aisha Tirmizi said 250. Laiba said 350.
Okay. All right. So the answer really is about 250 resumes So whoever came around that is correct. 250 resumes are typically sent for one job opening. Of those, 4 to 6 are interviewed, and then one gets the job offer. So what this is showing you, this isn't to discourage you, this is just to show you that it is competitive, right? And your resume is absolutely essential to get you through these screening systems, the interview, and all of that. Okay, that's why I want to kind of talk about these statistics. All right, let me jump now into the next section, which is about application tracking systems. I think last time when Dr. Asma was speaking, there was a couple of questions around these. I'll kind of demystify what ATS or these application tracking systems are. They're generally used by larger companies, and now some medium to small companies also use these. It's used to streamline hiring, right? So you'll hear about these companies, especially when you apply to them. You'll see Taleo, iSIMS, Workday. These are all application tracking systems, and they are responsible for managing the full life cycle of a position. So a hiring manager wants to hire someone, they have to open up a position. So they do it through these systems. So what happens is these systems take care of all of that. They source, they'll screen, they will go through and help schedule interviews, and then at the end send out the offers. So there's screening capabilities within ATS to assist recruiters and hiring managers. And what these are, think about this, right? If you are getting 250 resumes or CVs for a position, who has does a hiring manager have an opportunity to sit there and look at all 250? No, they want to know which ones match the job the best, which are the better resumes, which are the ones I should look at, right? So this is what these ATS, these application tracking systems do. They parse the resume. So once you submit the resume into the system, they look for formatting, keywords, education, grammar. They look at work history, skills, things like this to figure out how closely do you match the job description or what is required for the role. And in many cases, they'll automatically reject the candidate that doesn't match the job posting. So one of the things you should do as your first line of defense as you write your resumes and your CVs, you should look for templates that are ATS friendly. So if you Google ATS friendly templates, you will find them. And use MS Word or Google Docs. And I know a lot of young people nowadays are using Canva to build resumes. I would avoid those because generally Canva, resumes that are built in Canva don't pass the ATS screening. Okay, so I would recommend finding.
Adeel, you went muted. We can't hear you.
How about now?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay.
But you need to share the screen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 1 second, please. Not sure what happened there. Did I just go muted for a brief bit, or did I miss a lot?
Yeah, no, just for like 5 seconds. So
Okay.
You're good. We just need to go back to the slides, and I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. So what I was saying at the end is make sure that you're looking at ATS friendly resume templates because you want to make sure that as you write your resume and you submit them, that they won't get rejected because of a template that could not be parsed by one of these systems. Okay. So let's jump into like what are some basics do's in the resume, what you should be doing. And Dr. Asma mentioned a bunch of this, a few of these things last time, but and some of these things may be new to you. So, few things. The resume should be simple. It should be easy to read. So remember, you have 7 to 11 seconds in front of this hiring manager, right? Your resume. Make it easy to read. Make sure it's simple, and doesn't look like there's too much stuff on it, and it's easy to follow. For you guys in particular, I would recommend keeping that resume concise and within 1 page. use action-oriented words. And what I mean by that is, instead of saying, as you're describing what you did, instead of saying worked on company website with team members, you say collaborated with software development team to deliver experience uplift to company intranet. What this is, you're basically, when you use action-oriented words, you are talking about your accomplishments, not the responsibilities. And I'll repeat that. You want to talk about your accomplishments. You don't want to talk about the responsibilities. No one cares about the responsibilities unless you've done something with them, right? So use action-oriented words, and I have a table of them below, which show that you have your accomplishments rather than the responsibilities of the role. Okay? Use numbers and facts to back up what you're saying. So, for example, if you worked on a website and that website attracted 10,000 or 1 million people in the first month, use those numbers to back up your claims. As I mentioned before, use ATS friendly templates. Or there's websites like resume.io that allow you to generate ATS friendly resumes, but also you can Google for those and find templates that you can use. There's some people who don't have a lot of work experience. Maybe you don't have a particular internship that you did, but so for those, make sure you list relevant projects, right? So you may even have a job that you did that showcases your certain skill sets, right? So maybe you were a tutor, or maybe you worked at a store. That just shows character, that shows that you're responsible and things like that, right? So you want to basically stand out, even if you don't have work experience. Okay?
So Adeel, it's 12:22, and we have a
Yep.
hard stop at 12:30, right?
Okay, wonderful. Let me speed up a little bit. So some don'ts: avoid overloading your resume with buzzwords. The words I have there are really growth-oriented, results-driven. That means nothing. When I see those, I think that this is just somebody's filling up the resume. I don't like to use those words. Avoid those words. A longer resume is not better. One page, keep it to a page. Unprofessional email address. So some people may have an email address that they use. Make sure it's professional. Avoid filler words, like exclude pronouns, I, we, our. Don't use those. Remove unnecessary adverbs like efficiently, diligently, consistently, quickly. Those really don't mean much. Those don't mean much, and they don't add much value. And avoid irrelevant interests or hobbies in the resume. Add things that show character. Add things that actually show a bit more about you, perhaps, but not necessarily things that, if you like cricket, like that. How does that add to your resume? Right. Okay, so we're gonna go through this pretty quickly, but we're gonna do this thing where what's wrong with this resume, and we'll just spend a few seconds on each. And again, I want you to just put in the chat what you think is wrong with this resume. So this Christina Jacobs, there's a few pieces of things she has in here. What do you think is wrong? So for this one, what's particularly
Ira said format, maybe. M. Azim Makbul said very cluttered. Asad Jamil said no education information.
So what's particular? This is a snapshot of the person's resume, but specifically they're talking about the responsibilities and not using action verbs. Responsible for receiving calls from customers, right? Look at that first one. What does that even mean? How does that show what you have accomplished? So this is lacking accomplishments. This is more talking about responsibilities.
Very good. Sayyid Ayman and Hanan were able to mention responsibility mentioned. So
very good.
Great
Very
job,
good.
guys.
This one should be pretty easy. Any thoughts?
Okay, Sayyid Abdullah said font.
Yep, font. So this font is not attractive at all. It does not look professional. So if I saw this resume, I would probably just within the first couple of seconds say this person I can't take seriously. Okay, this one. Very quick. I'll skip. This is another easy one. This is formatted weirdly. It's like centered, which is odd. Um, I'll ask the audience for this one. What do you think is wrong with this piece?
Sayyid Abdullah Ali said no bullet points. Uh, Dasarat said congested.
Yep.
I think no alignment. Ira said.
Yep.
Shayan said complicated.
Very
Uh,
good. Very
yeah,
good. So
lengthy
suppose
paragraph. Yeah.
all of those things, no bullet points, spelling mistakes. Again, if I see something like this, I would pretty much not move forward just because it shows that the person hasn't taken time to be very kind of organized in their resume. A few more. This one, just look at the first statement, the personal statement. This is someone, again, enthusiastic, motivated, and dedicated to the cause. Means absolutely nothing to me as a hiring manager. So this is fluff and buzzwords that are
Yeah.
not helpful.
Sayyid Ayman said buzzwords. Sayyid Abdullah said abstract. Sheikh Mubashir said should be more concise.
Very good. Excellent. What about this one? You don't have to be able to read it to tell what's wrong.
Too lengthy. Hasnan said. Sheikh Mubashir said no bullet points. Lengthy paragraphs. Asad said that. Dasarat said lengthy. Shayan Mumtaz too lengthy.
Yep. It is multiple pages and it is like a war and peace. I don't need to read a huge novel when I'm looking at someone's resume. And finally, what's wrong with this one? Any thoughts?
Seems decent, said Sayyid Abdullah Ali.
Yeah, it does. It does. You're right. At first glance, it does seem very decent. And actually, out of all of these, this is probably a better one. It's just that in terms of a template, it is very plain. So it needs to have a little bit more. So content-wise, it's probably okay. Even if you look at some of the language, it is very action-oriented, but the formatting is a little bit on the weak side. So this is my advice for this person would be to kind of use a template that actually makes the resume look a little bit better.
Okay. Tracking time 12:27.
Very good. So just a couple more slides. So we'll be done in a few minutes. Thank you, Faraz. So we talked about bad resumes. Let's talk about really quickly about what a good resume looks like. Here is an example of a resume for a new a new graduate person who doesn't have a whole lot of experience. And I'll talk about what specifically are things in here that make this a pretty good resume, I would say. Number one, simple one-page format. This person is a software engineer, so they have their GitHub link there, and also they also point out what their LinkedIn is, which is useful. This person had an internship, and they used action verbs here. This person was, if you notice, they were working as before the internship, they were doing their first job was a manager of a pizza chain. It's unrelated, but it shows that, look, they were a duty manager, which means that they were responsible. They showed some responsibility. So in this case, this is a pretty relevant thing. As a hiring manager, I would say this is interesting. This person has shown some responsibility. Because this person doesn't have a whole lot of experience, what they've done is they've listed some projects that may be relevant. This would be interesting to me. Some of the work that they've done, and then in terms of their technical skills, they've listed out very concisely some of the things that they know. So this would be an attractive resume to me. I would take this person seriously. I would potentially move them to the next round and go through an interview. So almost 1 minute left of my time. So I'll tell you just a few actions and next steps. Based on all the things we've done, what we've talked about, review and update your resume. Use ATS friendly templates, look at spelling and grammar, use action words, avoid buzzwords at all costs. Once you have an updated resume, review your resume with your mentor or someone that you trust, but have them look at this from the lens of a hiring manager. If you get this resume on your desk, would you take it seriously or not. And then finally, we'll get this presentation available to you, so you have some of these things that I've talked about. You can go back to the presentation. The final thing I'll leave you with is that my goal here was to really help you have the tools and understanding to update your own resume and make it ready, so you can be one of those people, of those 250, be one of those people, those 4 to 6 people who actually get that interview call. You have to stand out amongst the other applications. You are all talented, you're smart, you've made it this far, but in the job market, it's tough. So your resume is that first line of defense. This is how you get through, and once you get the interview, then it's your interview skills and all those other things that will help you get to the next level. So that was my kind of my perspective here. And I'm going to hand this over back to Faraz. I know Nabeel is going to speak, and then what we'll do is in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we'll take some questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Adeel Khan. This was amazing. I really could say that I learned a lot, the trends and what is happening. And I know you have a lot of questions, so hold on to those questions. And yes, you could give thumbs up and like pink little golden hearts to Mr. Adeel for a great job on the presentation. We have Mr. Nabeel Shamim next. We're a little behind on time, so I wanted to make sure that Mr. Nabeel Shamim has enough time. He has a hard stop at 12:45, and then we'll take your questions and we'll take all of your concerns, inshallah, after 15 minutes or so. So I see that, Dr. Mumtaz, your hand raised, and we'll take those, inshallah, after 15 minutes. Thank you. Mr. Nabeel, you're next.
Awesome. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you, Faraz. Thank you, Adeel. Great job. And what I will be talking about today, it will be all about LinkedIn, because I think all the advice that Adeel was giving us around resumes is absolutely relevant. And now what's happened in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years is LinkedIn has become your active resume, right? So I think it's very important to ensure that you are using that tool. And I guess I also had a question. I liked how Adeel started the session. So my question here is, what percent of recruiters in the world do you think use LinkedIn? जब कोई recruiter आपको job when they're looking for candidates, what percentage of folks use LinkedIn versus not? So I see Asad Jamil said 80%. Any other guesses? 70, 80, 85 to 90, 75. So I think लोग जो हैं Google कर रहे हैं, तो this is the right answer. The answer is 77%. तो मैंने भी Google किया था, आपने भी शायद Google किया. So that tells you how important LinkedIn is, right? Or I'm sure सब जानते हैं कि LinkedIn, what it is. I'm sure everybody here probably has a profile already. But the advice that I wanted to give today is just some tips and tricks in how do you really enhance your profile. Now I know कुछ लोगों को पसंद नहीं है social media, और social media में बहुत खराब बातें भी हैं, but I think at the end of the day, when it comes to LinkedIn, if it's used correctly, it can really help you, right? So what I'll be sharing a few tips and tricks, and what I'll do for that is I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen. What I'll do is I'll share my screen so that you guys can see what I am. I don't have a presentation, but what I do have is I have
that would be great.
I have
Nabeel. I'll follow up on that. So yeah, go ahead. And your screen's on right now.
It's coming up. Okay, so we'll go into LinkedIn directly. I will also share some things about myself, who I am, and you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we could see your screen.
Perfect. Okay, so this is LinkedIn. So we'll focus on a couple of things today because we don't have too much time. Number one, I want to focus on what your profile should look like, right? Because I think Adeel gave some great advice about what your resume should look like. So take that further into what your LinkedIn profile should look like. So some tips and tricks on what to do, what not to do, right? The other thing I want to focus on is how do you effectively use LinkedIn to find jobs as well, right? So, and it's related. The better your profile is, the better you're using your tips and tricks, the better chance you're going to have at finding jobs as well. And I'll kind of click around a little bit and show you. The other thing I have is I also have examples of some good profiles that are out there. So we'll show you what a good profile looks like on LinkedIn, and we'll go over that as well. So number one, and let me share a little bit about myself. So who am I? So this is my profile. I'm Nabeel Shamim. I'm a senior director at MongoDB, which is a technology company. मेरा कोई experience is about, alhamdulillah, 24 to 25 years in the tech industry. I was at Microsoft for 7 years. I was in the pharma world. And as you can see in my profile, if you take a quick look, again, if you have 7 to 10 seconds, I think very quickly you can tell who I am. Right now, I do not have the perfect profile, LinkedIn profile. I should probably be able to enhance this. But at the end of the day, I have my experience, I have my education, I also have my headline as well, right? So what's most important in your profile? The most important thing is your picture, right? Now, I know some people may not want to put a picture, but they say the most important thing when it comes to your LinkedIn profile is to have a really good profile pic, right? And if you take a look at some of the examples that I have here, look at Maya's, you look at Jonta's, you see Carla's, everybody has a really nice profile pic. So what are the ingredients of a good profile pic? It's got to be a good close-up. You have to be looking in the camera. It's good to be smiling in the picture as well. It's good to have, let's say, a neutral background. And to do this test, what I thought to have some fun, let's take a look at somebody's profile and let's see if they have a good profile pic or not. What do we think? Do we think this is a good profile pic by Faraz Khan? Faraz, do you think this is a good profile pic? What would you say?
That was taken by my son, by the way.
So this has all the ingredients of being a good profile pic, right? He's smiling. He's got a decent background. He's dressed nicely. Maybe one thing that he can do is maybe he can look at the camera and smile, right? But again, there's different versions of how you want your profile pic to look, but that is very important. The other thing that's important is to have a headline and have a summary, right? So that's right here. What you see, Faraz has a headline, which is he's a geologist, wetland specialist. If I take a look at Maya's, it talks about what she does. Take a look at some of the other folks. You know, they're kind of explaining in a few words who they are, right? The important thing is to realize that this is not about what you've done, maybe, but really who you want to be, right? So what you want to focus on when you think about building your profile is really think about, hey, how am I building a brand when it comes to myself, right? Who I am, what's my interest, and really what I want, where I want to be. Now I know many of you, most all of you, are going to be in the job market. You're looking to get your first job. So you're looking to see, what kind of job am I going to in the future? So it's important to build your profile so that it's showing the person who's reading where this person wants to go. Right? Like, what do they want to do? So a few important ingredients are, again, your picture, your name, your headline, and then the other thing that you want to focus on is you want to put a nice summary about who you are and what you want to do, right? So ये भी एक और important बात है कि you have to really explain very quickly. I think this is a little too long, honestly, from my perspective, but you have to in a few short words, be able to share, hey, who I am, what I do, and really where you want to go, right? So if you want to land that intern position at a company, if you want to get that job, you should really be able to show who you are in a few sentences. So it comes down to really writing a good summary about who you are. So yeah, again, we'll take questions at the end, but I just wanted to go over a few things here. The other thing is in LinkedIn, it's very important to keep your LinkedIn alive. So what do I mean by that? LinkedIn is an active, obviously social media, right? So when it comes to recruiters looking for candidates, when you're more active on LinkedIn, when you're doing things like posting and you're reading articles and you're liking, and most importantly, you're building your network, right? So depending on how many connections you have out there, the more happening your LinkedIn profile is, the more chances there are for you to get a job, right, through LinkedIn. Now I'm not saying that every LinkedIn request that you get, you should accept, but you should really be mindful, okay, how am I really going to grow my network, right? Because अगर आप उसमें देखें LinkedIn में, then if you click on somebody, you'll notice that there's connections and it'll actually tell you what are your degrees of separation. So, me and Faraz, for example, are directly connected. But maybe Faraz's friend who I'm not connected to, I'm connected through the network, right? So it's very important to keep your profile alive and also understand that, when it comes to finding jobs, there's really no better search engine. Generally, हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हर चीज़ Google करते हैं. Well, Google is a pretty good search engine when it comes to jobs, but there's no better job search engine than LinkedIn, right? So when you want to look for a job, you go in here, you can click on the jobs button over here and really start searching pretty quickly, right? So again, man, if I'm, let's say from a computer science background, I'm looking for a data analyst internship, right? So I'm going to put my information in here. I'm going to, let's say, put in Karachi, Pakistan. And like I said, I think I would be pretty sure that Pakistan, maybe pretty much everybody's also using LinkedIn, right? Because it's such a powerful tool and it's accessible to the entire world. And very quickly, right, you're going to start to see job opportunities start to pop up. And the coolest thing about LinkedIn is you can also create a search, an alert. So let's say you put in your search address, you put in your search items in here, whether you're looking for a data analyst job or a mechanical engineering job, you can go ahead and you can create an alert. So I can create an alert. And what that does is it basically helps me ensure that I am getting notifications. Because जब नई jobs आएंगी in the market, you're automatically getting notification that, hey, there's a new job for data analyst, internship in Karachi. And you start to get that alert on a frequent basis, right? Whether it's daily, weekly, you can get through email. So that's a very powerful aspect of LinkedIn as well, right? Which is that now you can start to proactively start to get jobs as well. The last thing I'll say before we open it up to questions, and we can open it up to questions to myself and to Adeel on resumes and LinkedIn overall, is it's really important to ensure that your profile is not only set up correctly so that it's alive, but you're also accessible, right? Agar aap LinkedIn use karoge, to make sure you use it correctly, right? What that means is if you created a profile, if you're interested in finding a job through LinkedIn, then make sure that you are very easy to access, right? So they can either email you, or maybe your phone number is in here, or your personal email address is in here, so that they can actually reach out to you very easily. You don't want, people are reaching out to you for a job, and you're nowhere to be found, right? So it's really important to make sure you're very responsive as well.
Yes. Thank you, Nabeel. So we have about 3 more minutes
Yep.
with 12:45, a hard stop. And so what we'll do is we'll only take questions on Nabeel's presentation right now, 3 minutes, and then we'll go to Mr. Adeel's presentation later. Okay. So if anybody has a question, let me just open up the question bank.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say is while we wait for questions, it's also important to look at the image that some of these folks have behind their profile pics, right? That's another really good way to catch somebody's attention. Like Adeel said, if somebody's only spending 7 to 10 seconds on your profile, then it's really important to have the right imagery in here as well, right? Like for example, me, alhamdulillah, I'm not looking for a job, so I put in a really nice background of Medina because that's a place that I love. Maybe that's not a very good idea, right? If you're really looking to stand out, it's probably good to have a picture of you maybe speaking or some words in the back that actually show who you are as a person, right? So really important to build your profile correctly. Any questions so far?
So Nabeel, I would ask, many times we have this question that come to us from the students, and that is, they build their resume and then, or CV, and then they attempt to post the same information, not similar, same information on their LinkedIn profile. Is
Right.
that something that you would recommend?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the resume can be a very good basis. So number one thing you want to do is you do want to build your resume the way Adeel was advising, right? So build your resume, make sure it's got all the information that you require. But you do not just want to do a copy paste over to LinkedIn, right? Because LinkedIn is more about less, right? So less is more on LinkedIn. So you really want to focus in on, for a job, for example, ab yahan pe job dekho, they basically put in a very quick blurb or quick summary of who you are or what you did at that job, right? You're not going to put everything that you did in your resume into LinkedIn. You really want to take bits of information, and it's social media, right? People don't consume a lot of information. So you want to take a summarized version of your resume and import that into your resume and really build your profile from a social media, from an image perspective, rather than just a text, which is typically what a resume is.
Okay, Sheikh Mubashir has a question.
Yeah.
is it okay to add extracurriculars on LinkedIn, like experience of various students, societies, clubs, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Yeah, I think that's important. And also the other thing that's really important is if you take a look at the interest portion of LinkedIn, it's really important to start to be active in the sense that you're following the right companies, you're joining the right groups. Because when you join the right groups, let's say you're in mechanical engineering, you're joining a mechanical engineering in Karachi group, for example. That's also LinkedIn is, again, it's all data, right? It's all based on data and analytics and AI. LinkedIn will start to find you jobs based on your interests as well. So yes, your answer is yes. And also you want to be able to specifically join groups and follow companies as well that are relevant to to the job that you're looking for.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nabeel. It's 12:45. I know you have to make it to another place, so we'll
Right.
let you go. Any final advice to our students, our mentors here who have joined us about job search and being a professional?
No, it's thanks for the opportunity. And what I'll do is Faraz, I'm going to stay on my phone, so I'll be able to interact over the phone. But yeah, nothing else. Please go ahead and share any other questions you have over chat or over email, and look forward to continuing to share my advice. And a lot of the information that I got is based on my experience, but there's a lot of information out there on the web, as you would imagine. So take a look at some YouTube videos on how to build your LinkedIn as well, and I can share some of those as well if needed.
Thank you so much, बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, and we really appreciate your time and coming to talk to our students. So we'll continue, inshallah. And Dr. Mumtaz Qureshi has his hand up, and then after him is Muhammad Bilal Siddiqui, inshallah. So we could listen to you and take any questions. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I appreciated both of you, Nabeel Shamim and Adeel Khan. Actually, you did a very good job, and on behalf of NED University and of our students, I am very thankful to you. And I am also welcome to you in our university for a physical session also. So please let me know when you will arrive Karachi, because very good news from Faraz and SM Uluda Saab. Recently, he is coming.
No, the good
So
news was from you, Dr. Mumtaz. आपने निहारी क्या वादा किया है,
yes,
तो
sure, sure,
हम
sure,
दस्तगीर
sure,
में जावेद किया,
sure.
राइट? आपको
बिल्कुल
भूले तो नहीं
बिल्कुल
आप, राइट?
नहीं मैं भूला नहीं हूँ great. So I want to ask one question from Mr. Adeel Khan. Basically, you shown one slide, statistics on statistics, and there are different answers of questions. So I want to ask what is the source of these answers? Only the Google or any other source you collected that answers of that questions?
Yeah, so the way I collected these from are there's companies that are focused on in the resume business. So I've been
Okay.
kind of part of my research. I looked at those companies and they had that's where I got my statistics from.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I could see, so I could see the link, and I think what Dr. Mumtaz is probably thinking about, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like in Pakistan, the culture, the tradition, the job search, it might be a little different. We acknowledge that, I think, so there's no denying that. But these are two universal tools. Resume, everyone needs one nowadays, and LinkedIn, very, very important, powerful tools. So yes. Next, if you have any questions, you could put it in the chat. So this is what we're going to do. So I have a grading system, confidence level. How do I check your confidence level? The confidence level when you type in your question, that's a that's a C plus student with confidence level, not an A. When you talk in the mic, that's a B plus student with confidence level. Like yes, you could speak to people, human beings. And A plus student, you know what that means? That means you open up your video chat and you say, बाल खराब हैं, शर्ट भी सही नहीं है, और मतलब गर्मी भी हो रही है, पसीना भी आ रहा है, जो भी है, लेकिन मैंने एक वीडियो ऑन करके सवाल पूछना है, क्योंकि I am confident. I've taken care of myself. I could represent myself with a video question. So let's see if we have any questions. confident people if they want to state their questions with a video. A plus. Okay, so let's go to Sheikh Mubashir said. Okay, let's go to Sheikh. He asked the question. Muhammad Azim Makbul, I believe you have a question you want to ask, inshallah. All right, Azim, I could read your question, but I wanted to give you a chance. Okay, I'll ask. How to make a resume for a position you don't have the adequate experience for? So we'll take Adeel first on that one.
Yeah, so it's actually a very good question, right? So oftentimes what I've seen is when companies publish job positions, um, you may not 100% fit exactly what they're asking for, right? And oftentimes you may feel like, look, I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think I have that exactly those experiences. Um, my advice is always apply to those positions. And in your specific question is, how do you make a resume for a position you don't actually have all of the experience for? As you read the job descriptions, you get an idea of what the company is looking for, right? You get an idea of, oh, look, they're looking for these couple of technical skills, they're looking for this type of experience, and you will cater that version of your resume for that. Now, you don't want to, obviously, we want to stay truthful. We want to stay, we want to give the hiring manager an adequate or a correct representation of who we are. But at the same time, you want to tailor your resume a bit, depending on who is hiring. So, for example, if the company is, let's say you're an engineer and the company is very much focused on web development, and you've done web development in the past, or you've done a side project, maybe that one comes to the top. If the company is really, or the position is focused on, let's say look at the company, and the company is very much about collaboration and how do and learning and things like this, maybe those are the qualities that you move up. So my recommendation is, perhaps look at the company, try to understand what they're all about, and tweak your resume while staying kind of true to what your capabilities are. But even if let's say there's 10 requirements for the job and you meet 4 or 5 of them, still apply to those positions, right? Because you never know. The position may have been overstated, or there may be key qualities that you're looking for, that the company is looking for, that they may be interested in you for.
Thank you, Adeel. This was great. Nabeel, you want to comment on this one?
एक चीज कहते हैं अमेरिका में fake it till you make it. I don't know if that's the best advice, but a little bit of that, right? Which is, you want to be able to push the edge, and you want to be able to, like Adeel said, right? You want to be able to really push and show where you could be a good fit for that experience, for that job, even though you don't have that experience. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Mr. Muhammad Sajid, yes.
No, I don't have a question, but I'd just like to commend both Adeel and Nabeel on those excellent talks. And I personally learned a few things from them as well, And I'm going to tweak my LinkedIn profile a little bit. But yeah, I'm sure the students have learned a lot, and they should. And all the best to them. And again, I thank Adeel and Nabeel for taking time out and being here for us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. So we'll give Ira a chance. Ira Farman, if you would like to ask your question directly with the speakers today. Okay, so I'll ask the question. Should we alter our resume or CV according to job description every time? And then I think Hasnan Hanif also has asked, this might be irrelevant here, but I have a query from Mr. Frazas. I couldn't find your email, so I'm asking here. Unfortunately, I'm not assigned with mentorship for one of the mentors program. Mentorship program, is there anything I can do to avail this opportunity? Yes, Hasnain, we will. If you send, I believe you sent me an email, and if you haven't, team@leadthenation.org, you could send me an email, and we will find you the next available mentor. Our mentors are busy with some of the mentees, students, but once we get a chance, we will connect you, any of the students who are here. Okay, Muhammad Zain has a question. Adil, you want to take a look at that question?
The Muhammad. So there was one question before that, right? About
Oh, sure.
should we alter our resume according to the
Yes.
job description every time? My recommendation is no, right? You don't have to do it for every time. um I like to have one. I have one copy of my resume. If I need to tweak it, I will tweak it for a job description, but you kind of have one core version of your resume that you keep. I would not do it for every single job. That I think that would be overkill. um Next question that I have here from Muhammad Zain: is it good to add projects in the resume which I have done as my coursework during any particular course? So this is I would say the short answer is yes, especially if you don't have a whole lot of um, professional experience, internships and things like this. If they're relevant projects, then you want to do that. So I'll give you an example. If you were taking a course where you learned about computer science, and it was a computer science course, and you did a bunch of things, you built a web application that was like a storefront. Okay, that's a really cool thing to put on your resume, because that shows that you've built something, right? So, and you may not have the professional experience, but they know that within your education, within your classes, you have done that. So I think that any projects that are relevant, you should put in. Remember, that one page is that first impression you're going to give a hiring manager. And in that, whatever stands out, whatever makes you jump out, if you want to be known as a technologist who learns things quickly, who can deliver things, and you don't have the professional experience, absolutely 100% use projects for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nabil, you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Um, so I'm gonna give Saad Khan and Asad Jamil a chance if you would like to ask a question to the mentors directly. Uh, go ahead. Mr. Adil, you want to take care of that question?
Yeah. So I switched my job recently after 3 months. Should I add it to my LinkedIn profile? I'm a fresh graduate. It depends. It depends. Okay. It depends on the circumstances of why you switched. Okay. So if I left the job for reasons that were out of my control, or let's say I got fired from that job and did not go well, and I don't put it on your resume. But for example, if you did a job for 3 months, but you found a better opportunity elsewhere and you left on good terms, then put that there, right? Because remember, you want to show, and somebody might ask you, 3 months, why did you leave after 3 months? You should have a good answer for that. And if that answer is I got fired, that's a terrible answer. If the answer is, hey, look, I found a better opportunity, and it was a difficult decision, but I went there, then that's a good thing. But short, you should be very careful about putting things on your resume that are going to ask more questions than you have good answers for.
Yeah, and I would say on LinkedIn, it's very important to, even though your LinkedIn should be alive, like I said, it should be sort of a living profile. It's very important that when you add something to LinkedIn, it should be something that's very strong, right? So अगर आपने अभी नई job की है or you're only in there 3 months, I would wait to add that to my LinkedIn profile until you really accomplish something and you feel comfortable at that position, right? Because you don't want to continue changing your profile. If you left a job after 3 months, you may not want to put that, like Adeel said, in LinkedIn as well, right? So really be mindful of what you put on LinkedIn, just like you would on your resume.
Thank you again. Bushra Aslam, I believe you're next. You want to ask your question? Let's go, NED. What's happening? We need one person. We haven't heard your voice. You might be all these chatbot like AIs sitting out there in Karachi, confusing us. All right, so I'll ask. So Bushra Aslam's asking, I am in third year of mechanical engineering, but I have done many courses regarding development, Python, data analysis, UI, UX, designing as well. I oftentimes confuse in making a good resume regarding my whole learning, and can you please guide me? So again, she's a mechanical engineer, but she has done a lot of tech-related, computer science-related projects and learning. Nabeel, you want to take care of that one?
Yeah, I'm sure Adeel can help with it. So, what's the crux of the question? The question is,
So
what was the last
she's
part of the question?
yeah, so I think can you please guide me because she is confused, I believe, about coming from mechanical engineering and then also having Python and web development and related tech related focus.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, first thing I'll say is, okay, I absolutely see a lot of mechanical engineers and engineers of different disciplines make that transition to technology jobs, right? So number one, if that's something you want to do, there's a high likelihood that you can not only do that successfully, but you can also be very successful in your new IT or technology career, right? So I would encourage, if you're thinking like that, absolutely work hard at it because there's great potential in doing that. And also, there's a lot more jobs in IT and tech than there are probably mechanical engineering in the world, right? And they also pay really well. So number one thing I would say is that's really good that you're even thinking about doing that. As far as putting that, maybe the question was about like putting in your resume. Maybe Adeel can speak to that. But as far as highlighting that, you have to make that decision if you're going to make that transition or not, right? If you're really serious about taking those tech skills and doing something with it, I would recommend कि आप कोई project करें या कोई job, even if it's a part-time job, whatever it is, but show that experience, right? Don't just do courses, but really put it to use. Whether it's building a website for a company or a store or something, actually show that experience that you can actually do it is really important. So Adeel, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah. So what I would say is, if you're applying for a mechanical engineer, I think the question is really like, she's applying she wants to apply for mechanical engineering jobs, and she has these other skills that she's learned. Do you put that into your resume? The short answer is yes. I think you would, because these are skills that demonstrate that you're able to learn quickly. These are skills that you're able to demonstrate that you are a member of a new age of the workforce that understands technology, right? So you would have that. Now, would this be a highlight if you are applying for mechanical engineering jobs? It wouldn't be, but it would be there in your skill set for the hiring manager to see.
Yeah, good clarification, Adeel. Thanks.
Thank you. And I do want to remind you, first year in your profession, you are going to rely on a lot of learning that has taken place in the classrooms that makes the foundation and basis, but yet you're going to be learning a lot of things at work. So that learning is going to happen even if you have, everything that you thought that you knew for the job. There is still this learning process that happens 3 months, 6 months, some places a year long. So go with that approach and present yourself in the best of manner with resume, LinkedIn. That was great. Respond. I do. So let's say maybe one more question, inshallah, and then we'll close here. And then after that, if any of the mentors have um, any final comments, then sure, we'll take your comments. I do want to remind all the students about our next session, which is in job scope. We're going to have a panel of speakers for job scope in civil engineering. We'll have Mr. We'll share the speakers with you. It is on the website leadthenation.org. We'll have 4 or 5 speakers from the different job industry, seniors at their positions, at their work, and they will share with you jobs related items and how to go for these things, inshallah. So we'll share this information too. I'm going to put it in chat. Leadthenation.org. That's the website you could go, and we'll take maybe final question. So, um, Sheikh Mubashir asked, can I present my CV for a quick review and then job scope in civil engineering? We mentioned that. And Bushra asked, do career fellowships worth it? In mentioning them in resumes, like from Amal Academy. So, Adil, you want to go for it first?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Amal Academy, but in general, anything relevant to your field that you've done, you have practical experience in, is worth it. If it's some, even if it's not paid, even if it's volunteer work, all of those things are relevant, right? Right? Like the whole point is that 7 to 10, 11 seconds that you have should highlight who you are as a person, your technical skill sets, your capabilities, and anything that adds to that, which is career fellowships or anything like that. If you think that they're that would present you in a good light, then it's definitely valuable. But I'm not familiar particularly with this Amal Academy or these fellowships.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call, inshallah. Aman Ahmed, yes, go for it. Aman, you have a question? Maybe we lost him. All right, so thank you so much. What we'll do is we'll share the recording of this session, and we'll share slides, and Mr. Adil could share with us, and I will post it online. Again, we have wonderful sessions. I want to say thank you to both of our speakers today, Mr. Adil Khan and Mr. Nabeel Shamim. Wonderful presentation. Two very important topics that we covered today, and I really thank you, and I believe all the students are saying thank you to our two speakers. So Jazakallah khair, and we will see you in the next session. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you.